To land on Mars, a spacecraft has to go through EDL, Entry, Descent and Landing, a process that takes a spacecraft hurtling through space at incredible speeds and gets it down to 0 km per hour on the surface of Mars, using only a heat shield, a parachute, some rockets and an airbag. It's a process that happens so quickly and is subject to so many variables that scientists refer to it as the 6 minutes of terror. And with no time to call back to Earth and recalibrate, the computer has to solve any problems it encounters on the fly. This is what happened. Spirit approached the atmosphere of Mars at 19,000 km per hour. 15 minutes before entering the atmosphere, the lander, inside its protective aeroshell, separated from the cruise stage. As Spirit hurtled towards the planet's surface, the heat shield's temperature rose to 1,600 degrees Celsius, while inside the spacecraft remained room temperature. At an altitude of 4 to 5 miles, the spacecraft slowed down to around Mach 2 and the parachute deployed. 30 seconds later, the aeroshell's bottom heat shield was jettisoned. 10 seconds after that, the rover began to unreel down a tether at a rate of 70 meters per second, all as it raced towards the planet's surface. It was here that the radar began to detect the surface of Mars, and the onboard computer began to determine when the retro rockets would have to fire. At about 5 seconds before the lander smashed into the surface of Mars, the airbags were deployed around it, and, below the parachute, the retro rockets ignited, bringing the lander's speed to 0. The boosters were needed because Mars's atmosphere has less than 1% the density of Earth's, and with that kind of air pressure, a parachute cannot reduce enough velocity on its own. 8.5 meters above the ground, the bridle was cut, and Spirit, complete with its protective airbag covering, fell to the ground at 14 meters per second. This section of the landing was extremely dangerous and vulnerable to chance. If the airbags hit a sharp rock at a wrong angle, the lander would be destroyed. And as it bounced almost 30 times, this was always a possibility.